Hello, welcome to Andertons TV. My name is Jack Duxbury. He's the Maltese Falcon. Whoop. We've also got Aaron in the corner.
Hello.
And all the way from Teenage Engineering,
Matt.
Yes! Matt! And it's a big day. Matt, tell us what you brought in.
So we've got a few things today, but first thing we'll look at is the OP-1 F.
I'm so
field.
excited. Falcon, do some magic editing whilst I unbox this. I haven't seen it. Let's freaking go. You ready? I want to feel the weight of it. It feels a bit heavier. Oh, sorry, Falcon. Falcon's put. By the way, Falcon is a new OP-1, recent OP-1 convert,
Yes, sir.
aren't you?
That's right.
How do you give me your How do you feel about the field, Falcon? Sorry, mate.
Field. I'm excited to see what new features it has.
Yeah.
I've really fallen in love with the OP-1, so I'm gonna see how badly I'm gonna
The
end up
keys
swapping
feel
them.
different. They feel good.
There is a little bit to that, yeah.
Whilst I'm just gushing and basically like fangirling over this, do you want to run us through what you think it is? And what's the pitch on the OP-1 field?
So the OP-1 field is an evolution of the OP-1, which came out back in like 2011. It's just updated it for modern times. You've got a few more extra features we'll talk about, a few upgrades. One of the biggest ones being the screen, which when you switch it on, that's gonna be obvious. Yeah, and it falls into a range that they call the field range, so the TX6, which we'll talk about later, comes into that. But yeah, they're going with obviously playing on the portability of it, which has always been a thing. But even more so, we see lots of people out and about with all their gear these days. So yeah, this is the way they are going.
And if you haven't seen any one of our videos here at Andertons, you think, what's this guy so excited about? This is my favourite product I've ever bought, the OP-1, the OG. And I've had it for about 6 years. I've taken it everywhere with me. I use it on everything. I've bullied all my friends into buying them, even if they didn't quite understand how to use it in the end. But that's why I make videos on how to use it. I'm gonna shut up, we're gonna plug it in. Let's go. We're plugging it in. And anything about this is pre-production here.
Yeah, so a little disclaimer, this one is pre-production, so it looks pretty much the same. There are a few little details that have changed, that nothing major for what we're doing today. When you are messing with the tape though, these are the other way around.
Right.
That's the only thing.
And on these ones, there used to be a red one for is it still the same?
It's still the same layout, yeah. So the top one is
Okay.
the output and the bottom one's the input. But
I like it.
one big thing with this is the whole signal path of this is now stereo. So obviously it was stereo out before, but the synth engines are stereo, the sampling, stereo,
Yeah.
and the line input is now stereo as well. Because, you know, we all love stereo, don't we?
Yeah, that is, man, see, if you don't know about the OP-1, let's assume that people do.
Okay.
Because if you click on this, on that side, that's the bit I'm really interested in as well. Like this, it might seem insignificant on another product, like, and why didn't the other one have stereo?
Yeah.
But look how successful that product was. Look how much I love that product. So I'm interested, like, does it, naively, it's so exciting to be stereo, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, does it double the fun?
Possibly.
Bit like it must have been how they felt back in the day, like with mono recordings and then going stereo. That's how much I've used the OP-1. So I'm excited. I've turned it on.
Okay.
New screen.
New screen. So a bit of an update. Yeah, no, it will all look very familiar to anyone who is familiar with the OP-1. It's just had a slight update on the user interface and the screen is a lot higher definition. So especially for things like samples, when you're on the sampler, you'll get a lot more detail out of that.
About seeing that. Right, should we
Yeah.
hear like I could just talk about this for 2 hours and my expectations and all the features. It actually had that long list of all the updates, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of basically all the new features, updates and improvements that they had made to it. So it's on their website. It's quite a long list.
It is a long list.
You'd see it more as you go through it, I think. So
Now I see you got a little bit of music in there.
yeah.
If I do shift and loop, I can loop that bit.
It all works exactly the same way that you'd expect it to.
Hey. So I can solo the pad. we've got drums on 4. Can I start having a bit of a delve?
Yeah, go for
Delve
it.
Lundgren.
Go for it.
Sorry, that's
Go for it.
right, 4. So I'm going to go Shift and 4, and Shift mute. So unmute that, and now. Crikey.
So that pattern is coming from, it's recorded obviously onto tape because, again, for those who aren't familiar with the OP-1, it's kind of like a 4-track tape studio, just built into the interface of it. So it has all of those sequences, and this one, again, will be looking quite familiar if we just go over here.
Oh.
The drummers, the finger drummers.
You're going to be so excited. We've got to
kit.
get some stuff of the Falcon reacting to the screen because it is...
I mean, the screen looks amazing for a start, but the screen has always looked amazing. It just looks more amazing.
Oh.
It's really nice. But yeah, it's the same kind of sequencer and the same way of working. So, you know, you've got... hold a finger down and it plays for you, which is good for people like me, I guess,
and
who likes to program stuff.
Two at the same time.
Yeah.
Right, the thing I wanted to try when we
Yes.
go back to tape mode is we got those drums.
Yeah.
If I change the tape, do you know, can I, like in this state, change the tape it's on and it will change the sound of those drums, or do I need to have recorded it onto the tape?
We're talking about the different tape modes here, right? Yeah,
This is one of the new
features.
features.
Right, so that is Shift and this button here. And what you get is 4 different types of tapes. So you've got the original like studio reel-to-reel, and then you've got a vintage reel-to-reel, which has got a little bit more noise, a bit more warble, dusty kind of sound. And then there's the porta cassette one, which is more like, you know, a Tascam studio type thing, which is really quite grungy, quite, you know, as you'd expect. And then the last one is the disc mini disc, which is adding a bit of that kind of like digital crunch that you get from like dodgy MP3s.
The nerd inside of me just lost it on that one. So can I, when I play it, can I change it? And do you think it will change? Is it like a filter on top?
Imagine it more like physical tapes. Like you've recorded it to that tape. You needed to record it to the other tape, yeah.
No
but
worries,
you can
that's
have 8 of those different tapes across the 4 types.
Game
and then they're all
changing.
6 minutes. So you can load up different ideas without needing to, what I would do usually is record a loop or a section on the beginning part on the OG OP-1. And then when I wanted to work on something else, I'd find myself shifting further and further and further down. And it was fine. It was kind of an odd way of working. And if you're changing tempo, you're changing feel, changing tape playback speed as well, because that again adds a really nice characters to some of the recordings you do on it. It just was a little bit of a pain, honestly. And now with this, you're able to go, right, got a fresh new idea. I want it to sound lo-fi and warbly. I'll go for the porta cassette tape emulation, load up a new tape, and then kind of away you go with it. So like, if we go on here, the different types.
And I can understand people being like, why didn't it have that in the original one? But you've got to give credit to the OG OP-1. Personally, I would happily stand up in court and defend it because of the longevity of it, how it's still being used. But you may hate it and hate the idea. I would argue that that person might not have ever had their hands on one. But I forgive them also, because when I first got my hands on one, it seems like a mad way of working, but I can assure you it's, once you learn it, it's beautiful.
Not gonna lie, when I first got my hands on the original one, I found it really, as equally as inspiring as it was quite frustrating to begin with. Yeah. But it's because we've got so used to the ability to create something, undo, strip it back, build it back up again, without the fear of losing what we've done and committing, you know, the idea to tape, which is what the OP-1 encapsulates, and so does this one. And it kind of just gives you that kind of like, right, I'm gonna improve my playing, I'm gonna really commit to this idea and actually kind of carry things through rather than kind of, you know, limitless undo. Like you can
undo button, folks. And I could see some of the initial stuff was like, oh, they've updated, they're not put an undo button. I'm like, I freaking love that. Just like with the Prophet, we had the new Prophet came out, and they're like, it's not stereo. I'm like, in a world where, in the same way that this is, you know, just putting limitations on it, inspires my creativity. And to that note, should I try make some music on it?
Go for it.
Oh, let's go. So have you started a new tape for me?
Yes.
And which one's that?
So this is the cassette.
That's exactly what I wanted to do.
Great, well there we are. So with this, obviously it's got that character of it. As you're playing on the synth engine and the drum engine, it's going to sound how it would sound clean. When you're using it, you can preview it if you hold shift and record as you play through. Without the tape playing, you can kind of hear how it's going to sound, which is quite
That's a nice thing.
important thing to think about, just because it does change the character. So with a bit more of like a noise floor, which I think you can hear,
Yeah.
you know, and with the fact that it adds that distortion to it, it lifts the level slightly. So I found it's good just to preview what it's going to sound like before recording onto there. So obviously you've got that, or you don't have to. If you hit stop, it will just go back to clean. You know.
Nice.
So.
Let's have a look in this. Oh, wow.
So this is the new sampler interface. So it works exactly the same as before, where you've got the 6 seconds on the melodic sampler and the 12 seconds that you slice up for the drum sampler. But now the samples can be stereo. They can be mono as well. And there's also this other interesting thing about them, which I'll show you later, where you can use the left and the right channel as like an A and a B. So you can kind of morph between two different sounds, or layer between two different sounds.
You've got a reaction out of the Falcon. When we get a young man reacting like that, we know we're in good territory. Right.
So what you did there just resets it.
Cool.
So if you are messing with
Upright.
samples,
Come
you
on,
can.
so this is an upright sample.
I think you might like this one.
Oh, let's do it. Full stereo goodness. Now I want to fiddle with it.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got
So you've got
shift.
you've got some options on shift, so you can
Same
tune.
things. Now the fade. This is interesting to me.
So the fade is the fade off at the end to avoid any kind of like, you know, the clicks and pops that you get. You do get a bit more.
I'm just looking at the
detail as you
resolution
go.
as a guy that's
Yeah.
never seen this before. Dreaming of a resolution. Oh, wow, you can go right in.
And it keeps a little preview at the top as well, so that you can kind of see where you're at on the waveform. So
That was good, yeah. Right, let's have a look at here. Suitcase.
I think that might also be going through the new reverb. If we check number 3, which is
That's fortuitous because I wanted to check it out.
So, as well as the physical updates, which we can all see what those are right now, you've also got a new synth engine and a new effects engine. So this is the mother Reverb, which I think the spring kind of polarized people because it is like a springy type reverb. It's odd. It doesn't kind of work in the conventional way that some people might imagine they want a reverb to sound, right? It's gritty as hell, it's noisy, which is great for some stuff, but sometimes you just want a nice clean reverb. There it is.
Well, we can let's demo that now. We're going to do this reverb, switch to the spring,
Okay.
and then can I try that preview thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's just, I'll get... Oh God, this is so exciting to see a different... I've looked at the same spring reverb for 6 years, and this is exciting. Because before, we'd just take the turns out of the spring
Yeah.
to kind of simulate a Hawley type reverb. That's it. Let's put that upright on because you'll hear it more on the upright, I think. Oh God, all different samples in there.
So there's a lot more samples, that's another thing to put in. So they've included like new ones that they've been working on or users have kind of contributed as well. You can save a lot more now. The figure escapes me, I think it's like 500 total presets. There is basically scope for saving lots more.
Cool, interesting.
Presets and samples. So there's a lot of snapshots that you would recognize from the original one, but there's also some new ones which are quite exciting and kind of, again, brings it into that kind of like modern production world where
Just having a genuine upright sounding piano. So I'm gonna,
and that's all one sample that it's stretched across the keys, you know.
And I love, on page 2 here, I've got the envelope, so I'm gonna shorten that up. Let's get this. So I've got a little plinky sound. So we can hear that reverb. So that's the mother, right? Mm-hmm. Mother, let's go to the spring, and you can hear that. I'm getting used to the colours. These are new, excitingly.
They've kind of adjusted the palette slightly.
Yeah. You can hear the spring there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we were living with before. But again, we're getting that in stereo on the track. Whereas on the old one, you could only get a stereo effect if it was on the master bus.
That's right, yeah.
So this is exciting. Again, you might be like, oh, why didn't I have that in the first place? If you're an OP-1 lover like me, you'll be excited. Trust me. If you're not excited, go watch something else. Go watch something else in a free country. So I'm going to do that one more time. And the Falcon will edit it so it's useful. Is that right, mate? Thank you, mate. Yeah, world of difference.
And with that, I mean, there's the scope to brighten it, darken it, and...
Do it.
So if we go, get it a bit brighter. So it kind of disappears slightly with the filter, but equally when you darken it, just has a bit more of like a realistic kind of like room sound. Also, for anyone interested in like a gated reverb, you can get gated reverb, which is kind of fun, isn't it? And it sounds really good on the drum samples, of course, but like it has a lot of interesting applications too. Okay.
So if you've never seen OP-1, we've got Wiggly Line, Synth World, and Sampler World, bass drum looking thing, Drum World. And here we've got these engines. So let's have a look. Yeah, we've got D-Box, which is a synth drum engine. God, this is one of the few things I've ever known about, so I'm sorry if I'm like,
no, it's all good.
And the drum, these are the samples, right? So let's have a look. Ooh.
So there might be some names you recognise in there, and then some which, again, are
It's kind of fly with the gold. These are all gold. Let's give the Falcon a choice. Apes Are Us. Hard Sponge. Vinyl. Or Yamalog.
They're all so good.
They're good news.
Let's start vinyl.
I knew it! He's got a new lo-fi hip-hop release. We can plug that. Can we plug that? Right, I'm gonna load that in. Cool. Ooh. Hey, let's get a little sequence going. Sick. And they can combine these two. Hey, right. Sorry about this, Falcon. I'll turn it down a bit here. I'll manage it because with the mics on like that. So we got that, and we were going to do the gated reverb, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh, let's do it. So I'm going to go drums. This is one of the things I love about the OP-1. You can get the sequencer cooking, tape rolling. It's all still moving, and I love that. So we're back in drums. You fiddle with the...
So we go number 3, switch it on. We've got the Nitro filter on there, which, we'll just have a bit of fun with that, why not? Really resonant. But if we go back over to, where's Mother? So it's quite, we'll bring in that gate.
That's cool!
I'll darken it slightly.
Now,
So you can hear it just pulling it in there at the end.
Do we still get a master effect, yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going there. Cow still there?
That's mad.
Hey! Right. Sequencer. Now I dig that, and we can record that. Because that's the type of genre I work in normally, is like cow hop.
Yeah.
So I want to create some cow hop. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yep.
Out.
Yep.
I've created an 8-bar loop of tape. I want to record to track 4, and I'm going to check. Oh, can we do the audition thing?
Yeah, so if we hit stop, so we're back to the beginning of the loop, and then shift record. So
got
now
that
you're
noise.
going to hear how it's going to sound through the. So back to drum mode, yeah.
Yeah, and I've got to remember which two things.
Oh
I did.
yeah.
Bit of swing on there as well. I love that. Well, let's turn the. So we go back to tape.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
It's just crunching up those
yeah,
transients.
just a bit. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, crunching the transients. Now, if I want to record that,
Yeah.
arm it. So now I can kill my sequence. And we've got that on our tape. Let's go searching for something to go with that. I know I went out on an opening a strong cow-based open, but it didn't record that master effect.
That's correct, yeah. So the master effect that's on the OP-1 just sort of sits on that master bus. So it's great for performance. As soon as you take it away from that master signal chain, it's gone.
We could bounce
So-
it because you can resample.
That's correct, yeah. So you can set the input.
Oh, having said that,
You want to do it?
I want to look at something because when we go into that
something
world,
else.
we get to let's have a look. So
Okay.
when I'm on like track 3, but I want to hit the input thing because we got new inputs, right?
Yes.
In terms of the radio,
So the radio input
or like it
was-
can be a transmitter,
That's
right?
correct, yeah.
Which is mental.
So if you've got a OB4 or any kind of like anything that will pick up FM radio, you can plonk it on the desk next to you and transmit FM to whatever station you desire.
Your own mini pirate radio station. So again, when you're looking at the value in it, that's insane. If you think that's cool, which I think is really cool, because one hack I used to do is I bought like these weird FM karaoke mics from China.
Okay.
And I would use them as wireless mics into the OP-1
nice.
for like lo-fi stuff.
Oh, wicked.
And you can do loads of even like wireless. Like in your car stereo where you have the little adapter,
Yeah.
you could plug that into a keyboard and you've got wireless audio into the OP-1, which is kind of a really nice lo-fi thing. Select your country. Oh! World.
This
I'm
might be
definitely in the
something,
world.
yeah. This is, I think, something you do on first
OP-1
setup.
mic. And
So, same sort of idea as the last one where they've got like a really tiny little mic just where that dot is there. So, I don't know the exact specs on it, but what I can tell you, it's an improvement on the original. Still not stereo, but you don't really need it for that kind of thing. But it's really good if you're just sort of sat there and you want to record any idea that takes you. So even a good way to imagine the OP-1 is just like having a 4-track next to you and you're like, right, I've got a vocal idea for this idea. I don't need to go grab a mic or like a mixer, preamp, anything like that. You've got it right there for demo purposes, and then you can just do it later, get it done in the studio. But for those instant, like, I've got something for this, that is there ready to go for you at all
what
times.
have we got? What have we got? I've got something for that. I want to do one of my favourite things, just to test that mic, is sample a new. So let's do a new.
Okay.
And that is why I bought an OP-1 in the first place. Because it's basically Bon Iver in a box, baby. So we got a beat going. So I'm going to record that. 3, 4.
Nice.
So we've used the mic, we sampled into it, we've got a couple more tracks left. Let's go back to the synthy stuff.
Okay.
And here you've got 8 presets.
That's right, yeah. So when you're in synth mode or drum mode, you've got 8 different presets that you can immediately go to. When you hold shift and select any one of those, you can cycle through the other snapshots, so whether they're your own or the ones that are loaded in. So
I'm going to look for something that says bass. Let's have a look. I do like the colours. Woo! Let's have a jam with that.
nice, isn't it?
So I've got my mixer. I can turn the bass down a bit. Put it in the middle.
So that is an interesting workflow point about it. So again, for anyone who's not used the OP-1, the 4 tracks are on those 4 different faders. So when you're on the mixer mode, yeah, you've got essentially volume, panning, and then effects through to the master,
Yes.
and the end of the master signal chain.
Yeah, I love it. And I love the lack of there personally as well. I'm so used to just committing to it and being like, oh, whatever. And if I wanted to, I could lift it off the tape.
That's right, yeah.
But then I can put it back down, and that's a great way. You can see I can then replicate the pattern and do a range. You know, all these boxes that people go, oh, I wish I had an arranger mode. I always felt like this had such a good way to arrange beats.
Yeah, for sure. Because as well, a feature that didn't come to me like as immediately when I first got hands-on with the original one was the fact that you can actually, whilst it's playing, you can hit shift, and I think it's either shift and the arrow, and then it does move the loop to the next section. So if you've got a song that you want to perform and you're doing the intro, you can kind of go, right, I'm ready at the end of this one to go into the verse or the next section, and it will kind of do that for you and keep in time. So as maybe like less fluid as it is as some groove boxes and other things, you can still arrange and still kind of work things in on the fly. It's a really good live looper as well.
Yes.
If you're good at performing like yourself, like and playing stuff in, you can just kind of jam out an idea and have it recording alongside everything else. So
Yeah, I love it.
very free work.
And the
flow.
sequences, I'm just going to show you. We've got all the classic ones
Yeah.
there. Oh, let's have a look what the
So-
sketch looks like.
Yeah,
Oh, that's nice. That's less controversial.
peace in the world.
Yeah. The last one was Karl Marx was right. Which I loved. I loved it, just throwing out, just making the internet even angrier. Come on. Oh, that's sweet. So you can draw your music. Beautiful. Beautiful.
There is one new one actually for keys. So we've got hold. So I don't know if you'd ever found yourself wanting just to hold a drone.
Yes.
Yep, there it
All the
is.
time.
There it is.
He's laughing 'cause that's all I do.
So yeah, with the synth engines, you can. If we pick something out
Yeah,
of that,
I will. We're going back here.
find a nice pad probably somewhere in there.
Oh, let's go we got all the same.
Yeah, so the new one actually from that, they're all the same ones that you see on the original one. So a collection of
All
just
different interfaces.
Yeah, Dimension is the new one.
Is it?
So that is more like a classic subtractive synthesis engine. So
what?
fading between different waveforms.
And you can hear that stereo-ness.
Yeah, and you can increase or decrease that here with the control. You can kind of spread it's nice.
Dig it, right? Let's make it more mono. Stezza. Nice. Let's find oh yeah. And let's yeah. Oh, I love it.
I did do a gig once where we got the endless sequencer and had it on one step constantly, just playing the same thing with a gentle envelope. And I was
Respect.
like, That is a good workaround, but it's just...
This is so instant.
Yeah, here it is. It's just, you know... And again, it sounds like it should just be a simple, obvious thing, right? But
yeah.
Teve, Listen, they put it in there. And you can do a few more things with it than just drone. You can also revoice the drone, so you can kind of like hit a chord with hold on. And I think I'm right in saying it is one of these. You can restrict the range.
Yeah.
You can change whether it's poly or mono.
Oh, that's what a good...
There you go, you can scroll through.
Like a freaking omnichord.
Yeah. Just not a slider or
goodness.
a knob, but yeah.
I'm doing that. That's going in. It's going track 1. Dig it. So let's have a listen to that. Turn that off. Yeah.
This is really nice.
All we got to do is put some Bon Iver.
Yeah.
Just, I love him, but I haven't got a clue what he's saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just got to get some tats and lose even more hair, and then I think I could maybe support him. Hey, right, so we've got that, and there's crunchiness in there. This is exciting.
We are, yeah, we're going out of here quite hot, and I think
We haven't even used it.
what we'll find probably is that
The master bus.
I think I did turn the drive up a little bit, like a tiny bit. So you can have it very nice and clean going
Yeah.
through, but you can also,
Let's
with
do
that,
it.
you've
Right,
got...
so we've got
bit of
4 tracks
crunch.
populated, and well, how about we show off that, and then some tape tricks.
Okay, yeah, sure thing.
So we've got the 8 buttons here, and what else do they do here?
So these first, I mean, all of them, again, are the same on the original, but you'd have the loop in point, loop out point, loop on and off. And then because this one is the prototype, I think it's 5 and 6 that are switched, but you've got reverse, you've got tape stop, and then you've got almost like a backwards and forwards type looper. So it's grabbing
That's
a...
new, isn't it?
No, it's like a... it's
These
something
were,
that was-
we've got these 2 EQ.
the memory things, yeah, so you can sort of set different momentary EQ and master effects settings. So as you hold them, make those changes, so you can bring in like a low frequency dropout with just touching the button rather than having to go through the different
Right,
menu
I want to hear.
options
We'll
again.
show you this master bus compressor because
Okay.
maybe just on the drums
Sure.
because you can really hear it there. You really hear it. I like judicial amounts of that.
It works in different amounts for the type of music you're working with. It kind of like, it can be quite adaptable, quite clean. When you were doing the more extreme settings with the slow release, like it can make everything sound quite like squished, but like slow recovery. And then when the release is down a bit more and the drive is up, it gets really, really crunchy.
Yeah,
But in a nice way.
I think a lot of that's why, especially on drums, you've seen it on Instagram and the lo-fi guys. That it's good that they've retained that. So we got that. Let's hear that over the whole mixer-rooney. So without. Just so cool. Oh. Right, and now one thing I love to do is play it and then just filter it all down and play with some effects. So
Okay.
we're gonna go master.
Let's do that.
So this is a big deal for me because I've spent a large portion of my life using Nitro. It doesn't sound as, I think that I'm so used to it that I can hear it doesn't, I wouldn't be surprised if they'd taken away some of the aliasing.
Yeah, a lot of the audio path is a lot cleaner, so it does I think it's like 32-bit audio, so the sort of noise floor and the definition is much higher. It also means that when you slow the tape speed down, there's more detail in there. So, you know, there's a nice character that you get from the original one, but with this, if you slow anything down, it can retain a bit more of its definition, which for basses and for like, especially high frequency stuff, it can make it sound just wonderfully lush when you just turn it down maybe like 1 or 2 steps.
Let's do it.
And so,
I'm going to bring this back in.
Okay.
But that's interesting because for me, honestly, I'm like, do I use the OP-1 because it doesn't sound 32-bit? Is it because it's mono and because it's 16? But then, but as a guy that's already got the OP-1, I mean, I'm excited. Like I'm like, oh, the amount of times that I wished I didn't get odd kind of aliasing when I used Nitro. This is quite thrilling. And the envelope.
if you add a bit more of that cue in the envelope, it does get the madness of the original version of it.
Yeah, oh crikey, yeah. Oh, the envelope's a lot more aggressive. Again, for like live stuff.
Switch it out, yeah.
Let's get those going.
So this is the tape speed we were talking about.
Oh man, that's my jam, man. This is a different character in that one. So we're down 7 at the moment. And let's bring the whole beat back. That's from the top. Oh, come on. I went from Bonnevet to Big Red Machine. That's all I'm doing. And then a bit of delay on it. And what I like about the delay, I had to listen. And it doesn't do syncing. But then I think, hopefully I can demonstrate that. I'll fail for a little bit, but we'll get it in time. This is what music is. Oh, they got a millisecond there. Put it back in
The millisecond range is just showing you what kind of range you're in, and then it's still the kind of numbered speed and feedback.
Interesting. That's cool. Putting a delay on to make it sound a bit
of texture, a bit of like extra layers, and
then we can reverse it. Let's take that delay off.
I think
I'll go back up to tempo.
Right, sorry, it's these two that
switch. That's it.
Side to side. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, and then hit it.
Yeah. And then the one with the dots was the kind of backwards forwards thing. This is a nice effect.
Oh man, I love it. And then can I live the thrill of being like, I've made that beat, I want to make a new one, and not before I used to go up here.
Yeah.
Find a new bit of tape, and then if I changed tempo, because it's tape, one trick I used to do was record me saying the tempo, so that I'd be like 56.
That's a good way of doing it.
Right?
Yeah.
I was doing like 56
Nice.
and then I don't know why I'd be at 56, you know, just grindcore or whatever. But I'd be on there and that's how I did it. But now
Okay.
I need no longer do that. I could go to a mini disc world, right? Mm-hmm. Can we do that together?
Let's go to Mini Disc World.
Can you do it for me, please?
Yeah, sure.
Because I don't know how to do that.
Shift and tape, and then this is the tape type. So if we go down to Disc Mini, they call it. And then with the options with this, you can name them, you can load different ones. If there isn't one there already, just hit new, and then it prepares it for you. And then away you go. So yeah.
That's it. Mm-hmm. That's what, and I can go back to the Shift, and then load.
So that'll
What was
load
the
that
one we
one.
did? Was that the
so
one
we
we
did
did?
one on the cassette. So if you use the sort of dark blue to go to the different type, and then it's there.
Let's have a look. This is so. Was it on the 4-track? Well, that one, yeah.
Yeah, it was. And then hit load, and there it is.
Hey. Cow it. Oh my goodness, I'm excited by it.
Hours of fun.
Now,
Really is.
when will these materialise, do you know, in England?
So I believe it's August.
I'm looking around, but
Yeah.
don't come
Maybe
after
don't
if
hold
it
me to
doesn't.
that, yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
Everyone's going through the same thing at the moment, but you know, they're on
What's
their way.
the orders been like? Because I'm pretty sure here a lot of people have ordered them.
Yeah, I believe so.
I'm only saying that because I'll come out and say it.
Okay.
I saw when it came out, I was one of those nerds sat in my pants watching Super Booth, watching it. And I could see a lot of people freaking out about the price of it. Right? And they're freaking out. But that's cool. Loads of stuff. People freak out about the price of anything. I freak out about the price of Slim Chickens. But what's testament is, and the same here, that feeling, it's an amazing bit of kit. If you've never tried one, it's amazing. But also, loads of people have ordered it. So even if you're one of those guys that wanted to put so much hate into the internet that you stopped the OP-1 field even getting out into the world, it's coming out. And it'll be here for ages, just like the OG.
Yeah.
I hope
Nice
that was
additions.
of some help of a guy from a perspective as an OP-1 fanboy. And you can buy them from Andertons. And that's the difference with us here, right? We're a shop. You can buy all the links below. Thanks, Falcon. Thanks, Aaron. Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
And we'll see you again soon. Bye. Hey! Could be like a Dawson's Creek remix.